I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And Paul Rodgers has enjoyed a storied career, one you might think would merit his decision into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But according to the singer, he's been asked about joining Rock and Roll Hall in the past and turned it down. While appearing on the Eddie Trunk podcast, Rodgers confirmed that he'd previously been asked his interest in Rock Hall, turning it down as a possibility a couple of times in his career. And the singer is likely best known for his stint with Bad Company in the 70s. But prior to that, he earned success in the band Free. The 80s saw him opting for a solo career, then teaming up with Jimmy Page for 2 albums with The Firm. He also performed with The Law, fronting Queen for a period, and he reunited with Bad Company as well. Years and years ago, Ahmet, who was the head of Atlantic Records and the Rock Hall's co-founder, said to me, "Paul, we're making this museum of rock and roll. Do you guys want to be part of it?" And I said, "What? A museum of rock and roll? What's it called?" And he said, "The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." Sharing his stance, he added, "I don't think rock and roll belongs in a museum." Though the Rock Hall included a who's who of legendary musicians, many of which were Rodgers' peers through the course of his success, the singer adds, "It doesn't affect my daily life. It doesn't affect what I do in any way at all." So while there's been snubs by the Rock Hall of Fame over the years, it appears as though Rodgers' absence is of his own choice. Well, then that's beautiful. You know, Johnny Rotten did it, Axl Rose did it, David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Alex Van Halen, they all did it. They all snubbed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Whatever reason they have is fine with me, snubbing that place. I never liked the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even before the first ceremony, because I remember while they were building it, they asked that Yad Wiener guy that ran Rolling Stone magazine. He was part of it before they recently kicked him out for being a douche. He said back then, even before the Rock Hall was even done, he said, "We're only going to induct bands that are 25 years or older, because if we don't do that, we'd be inducted bands like Journey now." And mind you, back then, that's when Journey was big, and they weren't around for 25 years yet. But see, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know, they kept inducting all these people that nobody cares about, nobody knows about. That if they were to induct a Journey, it'll fill out the place, because everybody will go to that show thinking Steve Perry's going to sing with Journey. Steve Perry did show up, but he didn't sing with Journey. But they did it to fill seats. The same thing with Kiss, and you name it. All these bands that were inducted way after the fact, when they were eligible for many, many years, they weren't inducting them because at that time they were selling enough seats. But as years go by, you know, then they're like, "Oh man, we better start inducting these older bands to fill the seats, because after all, we're all about the money. We don't care about integrity." And to me, at the end of the day, these people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are not the problem. All right, they want to make some money. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with making money. Like, there's nothing wrong, especially if you're going to make money off idiots. Because that's who cares about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, are idiots. Unless you're a fan of Madonna and ABBA and all that stuff, then, you know, I can understand why you would love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because they're inductive bands you like that aren't rock and roll. I'm a big ABBA fan, but they're not rock and roll. But whatever, let them in there. I just don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I also don't care how I see yearly morons bitching about, I want Iron Maiden in there. I want this and that in there. They give that place like legitimacy. It's pathetic. And it happens every year when they do the nominations. And then when they do the fan nominations, that's even funnier. Because you have, I don't remember who was on it, but, you know, hypothetically, let's say it was, I don't know, Kajagoogoo, okay? They were getting more votes than Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden was very low in the fan poll, while everybody else was, you know, Duran Duran or stuff like that, you know? That's who care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, it's just these people that are into music that's not metal, man. They don't want metal in there. And you know what? That Rock and Roll Hall of Fame belongs to them, not metalheads. But, oh man, disgraceful metalheads out there. Oh, I want to get Iron Maiden in there. I want my favorite metal bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why? Why do you give that place any type of importance? You all should be ashamed of yourself. You're worse than the people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Way worse. You know, there's a heavy metal Hall of Fame. You should focus on that, you know? Because that one's more legitimate. But, you know, I mean, more people care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame than the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame that are into metal. Go figure. And honestly, you know, Hall of Fames and all that don't really matter in the end. But I am happy that Armored Saint got inducted into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. Just the fact that, you know, Armored Saint is a band that deserves some kind of credit and reward after 4 decades of ruling and not getting not even a quarter of the exposure they deserve. I'm more of an Armored Saint fan than Anthrax fan. I like John Bush more in Armored Saint. And it's great that they got nominated into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. That, I'll be honest with you, I don't really follow much, but yeah, I see a headline here and there. And I'm like, yeah, they gave something to Dio right before he passed away. So yeah, I love the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. Is Dio in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? No. And I wish it continues to be that way. Because I do not want Ronnie James Dio in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because that plays a farce. They inducted Black Sabbath. The 70s version, which, you know, it's my favorite band and all, but the Dio years was a huge impact that should definitely get credit where it deserves, but it doesn't deserve it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I'm sure the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame has Dio Sabbath in there. I know they gave the award to Dio before he passed, so that was awesome. So a gigantic thumbs up from me to Mr. Paul Rodgers for saying, hey, rock and roll, nah, in a museum, nah, no thanks. I don't want nothing to do with it. But I do find it odd that they still didn't give it to him, because they still gave it to the Sex Pistols and Guns N' Roses and Van Halen after members of those bands refused to take part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anybody that doesn't want to be part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is awesome and should be very much respected like I respect them. Especially that note, that letter Johnny Rotten wrote them saying, you know, pretty much, you know, shove it up your ass. I don't need this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're a bunch of poser fake things. You know, he said stuff like that. Totally called them out, and it was amazing. And that's why Johnny Rotten's my hero, man. He's for the working man out there, the working stiffs. He talks for them, and tells the elite to shove it up their ass. Nothing cooler than that in my book. So 2 huge thumbs up that I gave to Paul Rodgers. I'm giving it to Johnny Rotten now. So there you go, everybody. That is the only news that matters. And what do you all think? Are you all like, I don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or are you all like, I don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I think the people that follow it are idiots? Or are you, hey, I'm an idiot. I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What can I say? And I like the way paint chips taste. Leave it in the comments below if you feel that way. And I want to thank you all for watching the only news that matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. Also, comments are awesome too for the algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. And you know what to do after that. You smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.